All right, here's my modest proposal for fixing much of what is wrong with the political system in North Dakota. And there's a lot wrong with it, but I think you can boil it all down to one thing. We've got a one-party system here. And with that in mind, you may think you know where I'm going with this, and I kind of am, but with a twist or two, let's get into it here. Jim Walsh for Bizman Uncensored. You can find me on Facebook. Your comments are welcome on the Facebook page or via my email at jimwalsh2001@yahoo.com. Not too long ago, the Democrats in North Dakota criticized Kevin Cramer for reimbursing himself and paying family members, including a videography business owned by one of his daughters, more than $350,000 in campaign funds since 2011. This according to federal election records from the Federal Election Commission. Now, there was also an ethics investigation request. This was not part of that. But it's certainly questionable behavior, and in a lot of places, you would like to think, and I think it is the case, just the suggestion of something like this would be enough to knock him right out of the running for re-election. Now, I'm not a Kevin Cramer fan for a lot of reasons, but I want to focus on this specifically. The fact is, we all know good and damn well this is going to have absolutely no bearing on whether this guy gets a shot at getting reelected. He probably is. He's already made it clear he's not going after the Senate seat. He's going to run for reelection as a congressman, and he's probably going to win because you know how it is in North Dakota. As my buddy Joel Heitkamp once put it, you could take a can of baked beans. You could take a can of baked beans with botulism and put an R on it and run it against a Democrat in this state, and it would probably win. Well, here's the thing. Regardless of where you stand politically, if you ever want things to change in any way, if you want the system to change, and I know a lot of people don't, this is not directed at those people. If you want to keep the Republicans in power and just keep letting them run roughshod over everything and keep doing what they want to do without having any concern about being honest about things, if you like that system, then, you're listening to the wrong show in the first place. But if you like that system, this is not directed at you. I'm talking about the people who would like to see more of a two-party system in this state, one where you have two parties squaring off against one another, and whatever the faults of such a system may be, they are keeping each other honest to some degree. That's the way the system is supposed to work. You have two parties working off against each other, so there is a sense of compromise, if you will, or checks and balances, as the founding fathers like to call it, which I think is just really another word for compromise. But basically, it helps keep power in check. You get a system where you have one party in power that can do anything it wants because it knows its people are going to get elected no matter what it does. What do you have? You have the situation like you have right now in this state, where the Republican Party, the party in power, can take money and spend it on any goofy, stupid political thing it wants to. They can take the surplus we had a few years ago from the oil boom and just blow it completely on all kinds of stupid crap. And nothing is going to happen to them. They're just going to keep doing what they're doing. Well, if you're one of those people who doesn't like that arrangement, here is my suggestion. Here's my proposal to you. Here's what I think you should do. If you're going to vote in the next election, here's what you got to do. You've got to vote a straight Democratic ticket. No matter what you think of the people running, no matter how much you may like a given Republican candidate or how much you may dislike a given Democratic candidate, no matter where you stand politically, the first thing we got to do in this state is get away from this ridiculous one-party dictatorial system. The only way we're going to do that is by getting more of the other guys in power. Now, am I a Democrat? No, actually, I'm not. I'm an independent with libertarian leanings. Do I like a lot of the Democrats? I like a few things. I don't like other things. But the point is, the first step toward fixing what's wrong with this state politically is to get a two-party system. Because quite frankly, guys, we don't have one right now. So if you want to have any hope toward fixing that system, and let's be honest, it's a long shot as is, next election time, just forget about what they're saying, forget about the stance on the issues. You got to walk in there and just basically pull your little lever or whatever for every person with a D next to their name, which is basically, you got to do the opposite of what most people are doing now. Because we got to get more of a balance of power in this state. More of a balance of power, which will lead to more of a system of checks and balances, and more of a sense of neither party doing things that it just feels like doing because they know they can do whatever they want. If you don't like that system, and I certainly don't, I really can't think of any realistic alternative, any other thing you could do. So, what are your thoughts on my modest proposal? You let me know here on the Facebook website for Bizman Uncensored or Jim Walsh 2001 at yahoo.com. I would love to hear from you. I would love to get your thoughts. Jim Walsh here. Your comments always welcomed and appreciated.